been a very steep learning curve, totally different environment to general practice in Metro Melbourne, but certainly very much an eye-opener. A lot of acute medicine and a lot of evacuations. We've had at least 5 this week, and 2 on my first day. Getting some quite interesting medicine with anything from psychosis, acute abdomens, etc. And the list goes on.
I'm enjoying the variety. Yesterday, for instance, the day started with a birth in the clinic, unexpected, and finished with a gentleman coming in with septic arthritis, and with lots of ordinary stuff in between. So
we don't have access to radiology here on the island, and pathology is limited, and in many cases we have to fly people out even for fairly routine things. However, it really does test your skills with regards to clinical diagnosis, because that's what you're relying on, and stabilising people before flying them out. But it's quite a diversity of conditions that you come across. Certainly a lot of skin issues here. Infection is high on the list, and trauma is thrown in as well.
I think there's huge opportunity for learning. Certainly procedural skills are part of it.
I do things that, you know, I can even manage IV fluids now. I can prime the line. I could never do that before. The nurses teach me about machines. The nurses are fantastic. I mean, I wouldn't have come and started because I was too frightened about my emergency skills. I have done, and I work in Alice Springs ED each year. But basically I was a city GP. I didn't have emergency skills, not for a long time. And I can, because I know that the remote area nurses are extraordinary in their ability to manage emergencies. The front line is the Aboriginal health workers, and they are fantastic. Their skills and knowledge are really good, and just the dignity and the competency, really, I think, which means that you come in and the first line is Aboriginal. We're kind of secondary. We fit in according to what is needed. And I think I mean, I like that flexibility. So we're flexible between nurses and doctors and Aboriginal health workers. Nobody is fixed into their role.
It's an interesting place to work because it really is a team, and at home I don't work in a team. I work as a GP and I have 2 nurses that support me, but we certainly don't have the Aboriginal health workers that we have here. Yeah, working with Aboriginal health workers has been really interesting. They help a lot with cultural awareness and certainly language skills. And when I was at another community in Central Australia, I didn't have any health workers, and so language was a real barrier.
The Aboriginal health workers here, and the mental health team in particular, are very skilled and very helpful. And my role here is more of a confirming diagnosis and understanding things and coordinating things.
I know that the remote area nurses are extraordinary in their ability to manage emergencies, because there's often not doctors here. So, you know, you're kidding yourself if you think you're indispensable. There is a role for us all, but it often has to be negotiated, and it often is about letting go a whole lot of fixed ideas about what being a doctor is, particularly in terms of who's in charge. But yeah, so there are multiple things. Chaos is another word that had come to mind sometimes. You've got to roll with the punches, I think. Well, I'm from Sydney originally, and 3 years ago decided it was time to put my money where my mouth was. I'd been talking about doing remote work for a long time, and my last child had finished his HSC and he wasn't leaving home, so I did. And tried to train myself up, but I actually just came and fell in love with the way medicine works up here, really. Not so much outcomes, but clinics, the actual country's unbelievable. People are just wonderful.
They're a very welcoming community.
Yep.
The Yolngu people are very welcoming, very friendly.
It's been an extraordinary thing, particularly over the last couple of years. This is my high horse, but that we get such a picture of dysfunction with Aboriginal communities, and to come up here and to know that you are actually a guest of this functioning community. I mean, I think that probably most of us who do remote are fairly self-contained people. My partner isn't with me, and that means the kitchen stays tidy. But I'm a great reader. I walk. You know, being the first time, I like to take my time in terms of getting into the community. But at some point, I'd hope to do some, visiting and hunting maybe with some of the people. I'm very self-contained. I take I'm a bit like a snail. I can take my other world with me to a point. And I think that's a useful thing to be able to do.